Alright guys, we're back with working on our tower defense game. Right now we have a balloon that follows the path, and the balloon does not move at all, but we're going to make it where it can wiggle and also give it a little bit more animation. So right now we have just a regular sprite. What I'm going to do is I want to create a whole new scene for this animation that we're going to make, and what we're going to do is we're going to click on this little plus sign here. This is going to create a brand new scene. We're going to create a custom node, and this is going to be a kinematic body 2D. I'm going to call this one, let's do the green balloon this time, green_balloon. Alright, and just for good measure we need to go ahead and save this scene, so I'm going to do Control S, and you should definitely save your stuff in folders. So here's my scenes folder, and this is my online tutorial series, so I have sorted my stuff. You'll see I have other folders here. I'm doing my online tutorial one, so I'm saving this as a scene for green balloon scene, and save. Now this scene is saved, and I won't be missing any of the stuff after I have saved it. I won't lose track of any of that stuff. Okay, so now we're going to hit the kinematic body here. We're going to add a sprite, and I'm going to roll down. Inside of your folder you should have some objects to work with. I'm going to go to the green balloon scene. I'm going to go ahead and drop in the first picture here, and I'm going to put this in the middle of my screen, and I'm going to zoom in on it because we're going to be working on this animation and it's beneficial to see what you're doing here. So there we go, got our balloon. Now we're going to add an animation player. Animation player looks like an old school piece of film. Now after we have added this animation player, you'll see a new bottom panel pop up, and in this panel you're going to want to click animation. We're going to push new, and this is going to be the floating animation, so I'm calling it float. I'm going to give this float. This whole animation that I'm doing is going to take 1.2 seconds. I'm going to zoom in on this. I know how long it's going to take because I've already been messing with this a little bit. So if you use a different object, you might want to have different times, but this particular one is going to be 1.2. Now you can see that I'm zooming in on my window of time here with this little magnifying glass in the bottom right, and it's got a little sliding bar here. So the gray portion is the time of your animation, how long it's going to take. So if I change this to half a second, the gray bar is going to shrink, and if I put it at 1 second, it's going to grow a little bit more. 1.2 is what I want. And then you can like zoom out if your animation takes a lot longer, or zoom way in if it's super short. Okay. So I just need to get set up with how much time I want, which is 1.2. I also want to see. Okay, there we go. You can change your snapping here if you want to put like frames in between, but I'm only using a 1/10 of a second for each one of these. I'm going to go to my first frame here, which is at 0 seconds. I'm going to select the sprite, which is my texture, and I'm going to hit this key because I'm on 0. This is the 0 frame. I put in the 0 balloon. I'm going to hit the key, and I'm going to say, yeah, I want to create this. So create. So now I have my texture here. It's got the frame 0 here, and I'm going to move over to the 1 frame. So 1/10 of a second later, I want to switch to balloon 1. So you can see that the string kind of just moves over, and I am going to keyframe this one. So I'm going to click this key again, Now when I bounce back and forth between these, you can see that the picture is going to change with time from one string movement to the next. And then I'm going to go to the next frame, and I'm going to switch to the number 2 I don't know, texture, and I'm going to keyframe this. Now I have 3, 0, 1, 2, and then I'm just going to keep repeating that pattern all the way till the end. And you can have just a timer that's only that's shorter, where you don't have to actually keep repeating the pictures yourself over and over. However, the growth of the balloon that I'm going to add needs to take longer than the animation. So I don't know, this is the way I did it. So anyway, you'll see what I'm talking about. So basically I'm just repeating this pattern throughout the entire animation that I'm going to make. So as it's moving down the track, it's going to wiggle. The string's going to wiggle. If I push play, it'll play the animation one time. If I hit this button here, which you definitely need to do, it will repeat the animation over and over. There we go. Our balloon string is wiggling. Perfect. I'm going to stop this. I'm going to go to the first frame, which is my 0 frame. And just like I was using this key to set the textures for each one of these frames, I can also use it to set the size. Currently the size is 1:1, which is a normal size. So I'm going to keyframe that. So at the beginning of my animation, I want the balloon to start at a normal size, and I also want it to end at normal size. So beginning normal size, ending normal size. So I'm going to the very end, and I'm going to keyframe it again. After I did that, you're going to see a line that connects these 2 dots here. That means this frame and that frame are identical. There was no change in between this whole segment here on the size portion. Perfect. Well, in the center of this animation, I want the size of the balloon to change. So I'm going to come over here to the scale again, and this time I'm going to change it to 1.2, 1.2, which is going to make it slightly larger than it would be normally. And I'm going to keyframe that right in the center. Now, it's going to start out at 1, then it's going to go up to 1.2, and then it's going to shrink back down. And this animation player's default settings cause it to do this slowly over the course of your animation. So it's going to give it a slight bobbing look to it. So let's hit play on this. And now you can see my balloon string is wiggling around. It's getting larger, and then it's getting smaller. Perfect. Now for the last part of this, I want to see this animation take place in my game. So I'm going to save what I've done. All I have to do is Control S. And I need this to play every time I hit the play button. Right now, we artificially made it play by clicking this play button. Well, we need a piece of code to do that for us. So we're going to go to the green balloon. I'm going to hit the plus sign, and I need to add a script. I'm going to put this script in a certain location, so I'm going to hit this folder here, and I'm going to navigate to my scripts folder. Then I'm going to go to the online tutorial, and I'm going to open this. So now my script is saving in the spot that I want to. And this function here is the ready function. The ready function activates when the object is first created. So this function is going to activate one time excuse me. It's going to activate one time when the object is first created. So like if you were going to have a character and you wanted to give him some health to start with, you would put that in the ready function. So this is when our balloon first gets created, when you first play the game, whenever it first enters the world, we want this thing to play an animation. So we need to access the animation player. I can access that by putting the $, and then going to the animation player, doing .play. And what do I want to play? Well, I only have one animation to choose from because I haven't made any others. I want it to play the float animation, and I gotta end this with a parenthesis. This line of code tells the animation, tells the float. Alright, so whenever my balloon is first created, it will run this ready function one single time, and at the very start it will tell it to play the float animation. Now, since we hit this button here that says repeat, it will cause the balloon to keep playing over and over. Save our scene, and we are going to navigate to our level 1, the one, this other scene we started out with. So, our old school way of doing this was we just stuck the normal picture of the sprite in there. We're now going to remove that, so I'm going to right click and delete it. And you're used to using this plus sign to add things. This time we're going to use this link button here, and that is going to add another scene. We're going to add the scene we just made, the green balloon scene. So click this link and search for your scenes. You probably don't have as many as I do, but mine is in the online tutorial green balloon. So there it is, open. Now you'll see that there's the the new scene that I just added. It corresponds to that, and I'm going to hit play this scene. So if I just push F6 or if I click this button here, it will play my scene, and now I have a balloon that bobs up and down as it goes through the path, and the string wiggles. Excellent. So that's all I have for you in this tutorial. Hope you learned how to make a new scene and add your balloon to this. Alright, talk to you guys later.